quick overview of the group and where we are. So we have around 950 members now globally. That has gone up a little bit in the last 12 months, but not a huge amount. We have a churn of around 15% each year. That's something that's done on purpose because that 15%, they tend to be the dormant accounts that aren't using the membership, they're not engaged with us. There's no point in them really being in the group. So we always have some new members, and you see that on the newsletter every couple of weeks. And those are the ones that we're trying to get more engaged, get them to come to the conferences, use those services that I've just suggested. So it's always a work in progress to get people to be active, to be using the group, and to making referrals. The best way to get referrals is to give referrals in the first instance. So if you can do that, that always works very well. So 950 members, 155 jurisdictions, so coverage across the world, over 70 different practice areas. And of course, remember, a lot of you are boutiques, you're mid-sized firms, so a lot of you are working in specific niche sectors as well. So, and you do have some unique practice. So it's a wide expanse of the group, and of course that does cover law, accountancy and finance, and that has always created more opportunities in referrals because you are looking to work with different professional advisors. In terms of the group as well, it's split fairly evenly. You can see that we have around a third of the members in Europe. Of course, that's pretty normal, I would suggest. 25% in North America, and the rest split fairly evenly. 20% in the Asia-Pacific region, 10% in Latin America, and around 10% in the Middle East and North Africa. So that's mature markets, that's emerging markets, big markets, small markets. We do have coverage everywhere, and that's why it's important to share that information with your own clients, because you are part of a bigger community. You are part of a big group that does have representation everywhere. So if you can make sure that you share that knowledge with your clients, maybe it's on your website, maybe it's in your marketing materials, that does make you more attractive to existing clients, but also to potential new clients as well. So please make sure that you engage with us. In terms of social media, as regular attendees know, this is quite an important part of our business. Some of you are more advanced in terms of social media than others. I would recommend, if you don't have a strategy yet, that you do have one. We can assist you with that. We can do social media management for you on your behalf. If you wish, if you are interested in taking a bespoke package, Rachel will be happy to talk with you. But we have seen quite a big increase in the last 12 months, particularly on YouTube. And I think it's well known that there is more of a shift to videos in social media these days than there is to the written articles. So we followed that trend. We still have a very strong presence on LinkedIn. We still have a strong presence on Twitter, and those still are the business platforms. So if you have news, if you have articles, if you have updates, please share them with us, and we'll make sure that we're sharing them with our audience as well. So I hope that you take that on board. So I'm going to talk a little bit about events now for the rest of this year. We have moved to 4 events. Obviously, we're here in wonderful Rome, and then we are moving to 4 events this year, and I'll go through them in some detail. The reason that we've moved to 4 events a year is because we have sold the last few years, certainly the last 5 years, we have always sold out, and we have had to turn away people, and that we don't necessarily think that that's fair. However, we prefer the smaller, intimate conferences. There's 130 people here over the course of the 2 days, and I know that a lot of you do prefer that because it's more intimate, because that does help with relationship development. The annual conference is a bit bigger, and there was a vote last year where you allowed us to make sure that it does increase a little bit. And the reason that we did that, and I'll come on to Amsterdam in a bit more detail, is if you join a group such as IR, you really should be able to go to at least a conference or the annual conference every year. And unfortunately, last year in London, we sold the tickets very quickly, and we had to turn away quite a lot of firms, and we don't really think that that's fair. So that's the strategy that we have. It's put on us for those reasons, and very good reasons, nice reasons really. So after here, we'll be going to Tokyo. That's the 7th to the 11th of May. That'll be part of our On the Road series. The focus will be on doing business in Japan, but also China and the rest of the region as well. The demographic of people who will be attending is probably around 50 to 60% Asia Pacific members, and then the rest will be split fairly evenly between Europe and the US. So if you do have business there, if you are looking to connect with local firms, if you do have opportunities there, I would strongly recommend that you go. The numbers will be similar to here, around 130. Tickets are on sale. I think there's about 30, 35 left. So if you do want one, please do book quickly. It's held at the Ritz-Carlton, so a very fine upscale property. We've got a fantastic deal, fantastic rate, which is good because it is an expensive place to do business and it is an expensive conference. The ticket price is £1,500, which is much higher than any other event that we've done, but it's simply because the cost of putting on a conference in Tokyo, the costs are very, very prohibitive. So for the other conferences that we have, they will come in at under £1,000 for the rest of the year. It's just because it's Tokyo. And really, it's your own fault because, as Tom mentioned before, you actually took a live vote 2 years ago for our Asia conference and you picked Tokyo. So it's your own fault. But yes, after that, as I say, the ticket price will come down somewhat. So if you are interested in that, we've got some real fun activities there. We're going to have a robot show so I can practice my robot dancing. If you catch me in the bar later, I'll try and do some of that for you. We'll also be going to the restaurant where Kill Bill was filmed, so the Quentin Tarantino film, very famous fight scene there. We're going to that particular restaurant, and just around that time, the Prime Minister of Japan, he actually took George Bush there as well. So a very, very famous restaurant. And of course, we always like to have our fun, the social programs, as well as the breakout sessions and workshops. So for me personally, it's the most exciting conference that I've ever been to, or hope to go to, because I've never been to Tokyo before, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I hope that you can join us there. After Tokyo, we will be in Chicago in July. So again, this will be part of the On the Road series. Again, it will be looking at local business, members business in the US, business in North America, business in Latin America as well. Again, the demographic, I would suggest, will be about 60% US firms there, looking at the existing interest, and then the rest will be split fairly evenly. There's going to be slightly bigger than this event. It will be about 170 people. The tickets will sell very quickly for that because we have got a lot of interest, particularly from the US firms. So they're going on sale next week. Once we're released, first come, first serve, and when they've gone, they've gone. But again, it's in keeping with our style of not making them too big because we think that that's the right thing to do. So it's at the Fairmont Hotel, right in the heart of the city, fabulous location. We'll have some real fun there as well. We're going on a riverboat cruise, so see around the city. I think we're going to go on a crime tour as well, and we'll always have some fun and surprises along the way. So look out for that. Block it in your diary. As I say, the tickets I think will go very quickly, and I hope that you'll join us there also. After that, for the annual conference, we'll be in Amsterdam at the end of October. Tickets will go on sale in March, or probably more likely April. As I say, the conference will be a little bit bigger. I would suggest that it'll be around 320, 350 delegates there. And we'll also hopefully have a Rising Stars program where we'll maybe have 20 to 30 Rising Stars. So we may have somewhere between 350 to 400 guests in total. There will be people, of course, from all around the world and multiple people from the same firm. But yes, as I say, we're making that one slightly bigger because of the demand. We don't want to be able to say no to people. As I say, I think that's the right thing to do. It is actually at a conference centre this year. It's actually the old Dutch stock exchange. It's a real fabulous building. And I think the main conference hotel would be the Krasnopolski, where we had the conference 2 to 3 years ago, and that worked really well. So, as I say, look out for the ticket sales for that. As many of you know, Tom lives in Amsterdam, so he's promised me he's going to look after us. He's going to put on a good conference. He's going to come up with some great ideas, and yeah, we've got some good plans in place. So those are the 4 conferences this year. Next year, as Tom mentioned yesterday, the plan is to go to Zurich in the summer, but before that, I think this time next year we may go to Miami, and then in Hong Kong, and then the annual conference should be in Paris as well. So something for everybody, but keeping in line with the four conferences in the year. So hope you'll be there. just some of the things that we've done. This is finally from me before I hand over to Tom. Perhaps the best thing that, my own opinion, that we've done in the last 12 months is set up a series of national and regional meetings. And they've worked really, really well. And you can see some of the pictures there behind you. Some of these groups, the Italian group, the Swiss group, the Australasian group, they've met 4 times, I think, something like that, at various different offices. So, of course, they'd only do that if they felt that there was real value there. The format tends to be that there's a host. It's normally for around half a day or a full day, and then a drinks and some dinner on the evening. The thinking behind it is, what it has been and has proved, is because you are boutiques, because you're mid-sized firms, none of you, in my opinion, none of you what I would class truly as full service. So you do have gaps in your service offering. There will be people who you meet there, they're working in slightly different sectors, they're working in different practice areas. So there is always, yes, of course, some overlap, but there's always opportunities where you can refer work between each other. And we've seen a huge surge of referrals happening with members in the same jurisdiction. Yes, I know we have the lawyers and the accountants, which is a natural fit, but there is also lots of work going on between the accountants themselves and also the law firms. So for us, yes, it's an old-fashioned business in many respects. Yes, we're trying to assist you in using the latest technology and connect you electronically and some of the good stuff that you've seen that we've done. But in many respects, it's still as an old-fashioned business. You're here to meet people. If you can do that in a setting of a national or regional meeting, it does work really, really well. And it helps develop the relationship because you do want to be able to build a trust. You do want to be able to build a bond between other people. And you can only really do that if you meet them in person. Some people want to do it on roundtable formats. Great. Some people prefer to do it in a more social setting. That's fine as well. So we'll do both. The cost is minimal because all you've got to do is, perhaps it's a train ride or a short plane ride, and then a bit of food and maybe a hotel for the evening. So the cost and the time is minimal, but you are getting to meet people from the same jurisdiction, and it's worked really, really well. So people have had a lot of fun with that. And just finally for me, these are just some of the ones that are going on in the first quarter of 2019. These ones are perhaps slightly bigger. So we've got the West Coast in the US, the East Coast of the US, but also MENA, Middle East and North Africa group, and also our LATAM members. Some of these groups, they're maybe 10 to 15 people. Other groups, they're 50 to 60 people. So they've been really, really popular, and I know that we've got ones planned through lots and lots of other countries as well, and I even arranged one with Urs last night where we're going to have a dash meeting. So he's promised me now, he's committed to it, so a German-speaking meeting, effectively. So he's kindly offered it to host in his fine city of Dusseldorf. So if you are interested in this, if you are interested in being a host, because you do get a bit of extra exposure, if you are looking to connect with other firms in the same region or the same nation, please let us know and we'll help you. And that's it from me. Now over to you, Tom.
Okay, thank you, Ross. So for this last segment, I'm just going to tell you a bit about what's going on behind the scenes at IRHQ. So I'm going to start off by talking about a couple of marketing collaborations. ACC, some of you will already be familiar with, are the Association of Corporate Counsel. This is the largest in-house counsel organization in the world with over 40,000 members. Last year, we collaborated for the first time, and we created a publication for their members on director liabilities. Due to the success and the interest in that, we'll again be working with them in 2019. And this will be on negotiating contracts and also contract disputes. This will be a substantial multi-jurisdictional document, probably upwards of 50 or 60 pages. And this is something which will be sent directly to all 40,000 members of the in-house counsel organization. And what's really interesting about this as well is we can also monitor actually the downloads and the reading, or those who are reading it. And they also have to submit their email address. So this enables us to build up our own direct pool of in-house counsel who we can get the network in front of, and obviously all of you members. Now, new for this year is Legal 500, who again, I presume most of you are familiar with. Legal 500 is perhaps the biggest or most used legal platform for corporations, in-house counsel, and also advisors for gauging reputation of firms, either Legal 500 or chambers. New as this year, we have a marketing partnership in place, which means all of our working group publications, all of our thought leadership pieces will be published directly via Legal 500, which has over, I think, 2 million monthly views, to give you an idea of how well it's used. So I think, again, that's going to create a lot of exposure in the network. Now, on the note of working group publications, you'll notice on the center of the table, there's a few of these flyers. And that will give you an idea of the publications which are coming up over the coming year. So if you're interested to get involved in these, please just make sure you put your name on it and tick the relevant ones. Rachel will then follow up post-event to share more details. But I think these publications, they're a fantastic tool. It brings members together. It creates really substantial content. And of course, as I just said, this content also has really highly valuable marketing potential, both through this partnership with Legal 500, of course via IR's other channels, but also I think the biggest benefit is when you are all using this in your own marketing strategy, because effectively you are co-promoting one another to your respective clients. Staying on, let's say, publicity, we're continuing our PR partnership this year with Byfield Consultancy, who are a fantastic agency in the City of London. We've worked with them now for the last 12 months, which has seen us become featured in a multitude of publications, some very high-profile industry press, as you can see behind me. This has been fantastic for raising the profile of IR Global, but it's also been fantastic in actually getting you as individual members involved as expert commentators. So on a number of occasions, we've been able to actually enable members to actually be quoted in these publications. So it both has value to the network as a whole, but also to you as individuals. And if you do want to put yourself forward, please do let us know after the event and what topics you would be happy to talk about, and we can make sure you're considered for these future opportunities. Now I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the initiatives which are either happening, in process, or about to happen. I'll start off talking about our working group brochures. As you're all well aware, we have committees for our various practice groups within the network. Over the last 3 months, we've been working with the committees in creating brochures which are bespoke to each working group. And within this publication, it will show both the unique skill sets and expertise, but it also has bespoke case study material which actually shows how the IR works in action. So this is something which can be used by every member when you are speaking with clients or potential clients to show the international capabilities your firm has via the network. And again, I think this is going to be very beneficial in this co-promotion or fertilization of bringing other members into referral opportunities. Next up, new of this year, which you probably wouldn't have heard about yet, is we are about to implement a think tank. This think tank will be open to everybody who wants to be part of it. And the thinking behind this is that for us to be able to share our ideas for the future in terms of development, also things such as event content. Obviously, we spoke about the Deal Bash yesterday. It'll be a chance for you to have your input and have your suggestions so we can actually learn about exactly what you want. So you'll be hearing about this or receiving an email in the coming couple of weeks. Women in Leadership Group was a great success last year and is something which is getting a lot of momentum now. We hosted a meeting, of course, in London last year, and we will do so at events later this year. One of the most positive things which I think has come out the formation of this group is the fact that we now have increased significantly representation on all of our committees. So I think that's a very positive step for the network's future. Now a short note on our digital services. I mentioned the working group publications, which comes under content creation. We, of course, have a wide variety of different support services. So Ross mentioned social media management. We offer branding, web design, cybersecurity support, as well as editorial service and various other things. So if you do need assistance within your firm, Rachel is the lady to speak to, and she'll be happy to talk through and show you examples of the work we do. We have got 3 new services which are coming in for 2019, which I'd like to make you aware of. The first is SEO Health Checks. So SEO, of course, is search engine optimization. And this is very simply about how you get your firm ranked as high as possible on the search engines. Now, many of you, of course, may be using somebody already or have a basic SEO strategy. However, we work with a fantastic agency who will go in and give you a full report, and they will analyze where you can make improvements. So that report can then be shared with your own web developers, or they can also manage that for you in ensuring that your website is optimized to maximum effect. In addition to this, we also have just agreed a partnership with a fantastic company called Kid Aitken, who some of you would have met at the London Annual Conference, who were focusing on legal rankings. So for the lawyers in the room, of course, it is a challenge to get high rankings within Legal 500 or Chambers. Kid Aitken are former editors of Chambers, and they can walk with you in a step-by-step process about how you can get your firm highly ranked. And we do have an exclusive agreement with them, which offers you quite a significant discount as well. So we're happy to connect if need be. And on a final note, also running, I think just for a few months now, we now have podcasts. So we offer a podcast series, which of course is another channel or platform or way for you to share your expertise. This is something which is distributed via IR. You are professionally interviewed by a host, and this is something you can also integrate onto your website. So it's another way of you sharing your knowledge with clients or potential clients and showing you as an authority or an expert within your field. Now, very relevant to today, you see Deal Teasers behind me. We have created a system within the website which enables any member to go into the online members area and to actually submit your own deal opportunities. Alternatively, you can also ask your client manager who could submit this for you. There will then be a filtering system within the back end of the website where you will have quick access across sectors, across jurisdiction and size of deals, where you can access these opportunities at any given point. And this will also lead to a separate newsletter which will highlight the deal highlights, which will go out every single 2 weeks. So again, it's trying to enable you to share these opportunities and create a platform for that. And talk about technology, you're obviously all aware that we do have an app. However, we have been doing a lot of research and analysis into how it works and the functionality which you would like. We are just in the development stage at the moment. So by Tokyo, we're going to have a newly designed and improved app which you can use for updates, arranging meetings with members in advance of the event. I think perhaps, well, the most interesting new initiative which we've launched as of this year is our Rising Stars program. This was under the consideration that many of you as boutique firms face similar challenges when it comes to retaining your best staff. And I think this is really about offering comparable professional development opportunities to these staff. So via this program, there's an opportunity for your rising stars within your firm to join the network and actually start building their own international network, enable them to come to the events, give them the opportunity of international travel as well as their own personal career development. And we are also in the early stages of putting in place an official secondment program for work exchange between different offices as well. So you should already have received the information about this. If you haven't, obviously do let us know. And as Ross referred to earlier, within the Amsterdam Annual Conference, we will have our first Rising Stars program for anyone who wishes to attend. So I think that's it from me for now. I did mention earlier, but we're going to have fantastic dinner later. We'll be meeting at 6:30 in the lobby, so it gives you 90 minutes or so to answer emails or have a drink. We are going to have a photo opportunity outside, so if you would like to have a picture with other members in front of the branding of IR, please feel free to go and we'll make sure that's sent on to you after the event. So it just leaves me to say thank you again for joining us. It's been a pleasure and look forward to sharing some drinks later. Thank you.